Good. Great. I probably don't need to say, but Kim, if you've got any questions when we train, just ask. Just.
You know me by now, Michael.
Yeah, I know you're next. But anyway, we get started. We'll do a little bit of a warm up to start with that. Right. 𝘭𝘪𝘢𝘆. Oh, okay, good. So just start feet shoulder width. Just find a little bit of bounce. If you can, let the feet come off the ground. Just use the ball of the foot. Keeping the knees nice and soft. Just really set the shoulders a little bit. And just very gently, just shifting side to side, a very small movement. And just play a little bit with being even in the feet, so kind of the weight even, and also play with a little bit just taking the weight to one side. Just be careful with it. And good, not too big a movement to start. And then just settling down into the middle. Let the heel start to touch the ground. Let the ball of the foot find the ground. And just raising the heel up and down. So just keeping the knees soft. And just allow the weight to settle. So a very gentle pressure down the heel. A bit of an impulse down into the ground. And then you're going to roll the shoulders and the hips in separate directions. So the shoulder goes forward, the hips go back. Hips go forward, shoulders go back. And just think also really about rolling through the feet as well. So allow yourself to travel from the toes to the heel. Playing with kind of peeling the contact, the foot and the ground. Just keeping the arms soft. The feeling in the arms with all these exercises, like they're kind of thick, heavy ropes, just hanging off the side of the body. Good. And then just shifting side to side, so just open up the sides of the body. Really allow the weight to settle, shift from one foot to the other. Again, really softening the arms. Might feel as you go over, this arm wants to kind of just gently draw down, just follow it, use it to open the body up a little bit. The rib cage. Let the head go with as well. Open up the neck. Just bring the arms into it and just think about kind of gently, got kind of a wall on either side. Just think about you gently kind of reaching out towards it. So keeping the arms soft, not too rigid. And just think about also really opening up this area of the body, the ribs, space between the hips and the ribs, the armpit. And then settling back into the feet, take the arms and the body, just wrapping into a rotation. Keeping them soft all the time. Trying to let the weight's even in the feet. Body stays centered. Think about the spine just kind of falling in between the 2 feet. And just let the arms wrap the body. just to play with opening this movement out, think about taking it down a little bit, and also think about taking it up a little bit. So you can mix these directions in. I'm going to stay low for a little bit. You can stay a little bit higher. Or you can mix in, obviously, going down, going up, roaring up, pulling down. In this one, especially the back foot, the foot that you're rotating away from, allow it to kind of mobilize through it. So you don't want to twist the knee. Do it. So twist. Really allow the back foot to mobilize as you do it. And again, just try and keep the arms soft, heavy. And then strong back into the middle. Find in the center again. Relax both feet again into the ground. And just shorten the rotation. Make it a bit smaller. And then we're going to go into an open and closing direction. So with this one, we're going to really involve the feet with it. So it's really a hip movement, but think about the closing of the body here. You kind of draw the legs in. You're kind of wrapping the thighs in together. The feet are going to turn in. And then think about opening out, and then the toes pointing out. And then again, the kind of hips opening out. So really for the pelvis, but allow the legs, the lower body to follow. A little bit of focus again on the feet, turning in, turning out, and then just allow the hands to follow. So allowing the shoulders to open and close as well. So think about closing at the front, opening into this movement here. So it's a big movement, opening, closing. Trying to involve the whole body as much as you can. And it's the same movement. Keep the feet settled now, so don't adjust the feet, but just think about the pelvis being able to mobilize, and then think about this movement just becoming a little bit softer, and it kind of naturally transforms now into a wave. So allow that movement to happen. Allow the feet to be relaxed, knees to be open. Hands going to just follow the movement, and now especially think about the top of the head and the tailbone. And the spine in between, and really try and mobilize a wave through the spine. Right from the tailbone to the top of the head. Great. And then just really make this into a wave. You're going to bring the hands into it, let them come above the head and then down through the center line. You have open, raise the arms above the head, and then let the fingertips lead down into a wave. Raise up, roll down. And you can also bring the breath into this now. So think about a nice deep breath in, and then a deep breath out. And just allow the breath to follow the movement. So if you make a bit of a sharper movement, make the breath a bit sharper. If you make a long, slow movement, make the breath long and slow. And just find your own rhythm with the breath, whatever feels appropriate to the movement you're making. Good. Good. And then just coming back to center, we'll just do one movement just to really release the spine now. So you're going to bring the arms out to the side, take a deep breath in. You're going to zip the hands through the center line here, and then just release from the top of the head, all the way through the spine. As you go down, to release the fingertips, release the shoulders, release down. Keep the knees a little bit flexed, and then you just want to pass the movement through the spine. So if you think about the tailbone against the top of the head, and now include the shoulders, the fingertips, just passing impulse movement through. Take a couple of breaths as you do it, down. And then press the hands into the ground. Press the feet into the ground.
And then you're just going to play with one movement, which is to peel the toes up off the ground. Keep the hands in the ground if you can. Peel the toes off the ground. Press them back in. Settle the weight. And then nice and slowly, just tracing up the legs with the hands. All the way up.
Just standing. Very good. And we'll just go to the head, so just reaching up and down. Think about not only kind of looking up and down, think about lengthening the neck as you reach up, and then lengthening the back of the neck as you go down. Lengthen the front, lengthening the back as you go down. Good. And then looking left and right, and the same idea, think about lengthening the side of the neck, as well as looking as far as you can to the left, as far as you can to the right. Good. And then again, lengthening, you're going to take the ear to the shoulder. And just play with this one a little bit. If it feels comfortable to do so, just play with looking up a little bit and play with looking down a little bit. Just slightly shifts the stretch on the neck. And then find the center line, shift back to the center, take it to the other side. And again, if it feels comfortable, so there's no discomfort, look up a little bit, look up, look down a little bit, and spotting the corners. And then coming back to center, just release the head, nice and heavy, and then just roll the chin across the front of the body. Making circles from one shoulder to the other. Good. And then just with the chin, you're going to push it out and pull it back. Push it out, pull it back. And you think about really, in this position, really activating the neck here, and then opening out. So. Very good. And then just take a few moments and just mobilize the head freely. Go in any direction. And don't go anywhere that's uncomfortable. Just mobilize the head around a little bit. Great. And then we're going to the shoulders. So just starting with a roll back. And really think about opening the chest up at the same time. So the chest, the shoulder blades, the back. Keeping the elbows and the wrist and the fingers loose. And then just bring it a little bit bigger with the elbows. Let the hands just kind of brush across the face with the front. And then just make it a little bit bigger. Change it into a circle. And keep it big, reverse the arms. Big circles forward. Really involving the whole body in it, the chest, the torso, the legs. Make it a little bit smaller. Let the hands again just brush across the face. And then just circling them up forwards. Good. We'll just take it to the elbows, rolling them out. So, change in direction. Alternating the arms. Change in direction. Just for the wrists. Just keeping the elbows quite close to the body. Quite a loose fist. And just really mobilize them around. And change. And same idea, just think about opening them up to the top, and then as you curl them back under, think about taking a grip. Open them up to the top, curl them under. Open, spread, curl under. Good, squeeze into a grip. And just loosen out the arms a little bit. Keep the grip strong. Just loosen them out and loosen one a little bit more. Keep the grip strong all the time. So as you're doing this, loosening the shoulder, loosening the elbow. Keep pulling back to a nice tight fist. Take the elbows now, keep the fist and just roll into the back. So a little bit of tensioning down the elbow. Right to the back. And again, keeping the knees soft, don't twist into the knees. Keep the weight between the 2 feet. Good. And then do the same thing, you're just going to open the arm out to the back. So as you go into the rotation, just extending a little bit down the arm. Think in this case a little bit about pulling between the outstretched fist and the opposite side elbow. So there's a little bit of a pull in the body. Think about kind of drawing a bow. Elbow to the opposite fist. Great. And then we just release up, open up the body. Reach up one side. Open up. Do it nice and slowly in. And then draw the body back. Reach up the other side. Slowly in. Slowly pulling back. We'll do one more on each side. And the other side. And pulling back to the center. Just find out again, shoulder width with the feet. Rolling the hips around. And change. Bring the feet together and just hinge in the knees. And just come about halfway into your range of motion, and then just think about gently pulsing down and back into halfway. And then just release into the back, just add a little bit of pressure back, lengthen through the legs, pull the toes up gently towards the face. And I'm going to go down, spread the knees away, keep the back nice and long. Spread the knees out. Coming back up, gentle pressure back again, pulling the toes up. And then spreading down one time, spreading the knees out, keep the back long. And then lengthen it back, pulling the toes up. And then let the toes find the ground and take it in nice tight circles. Going one way. And change. Good, just place them on foot down. Press the other leg back and press the heel down into the ground. And if that's really comfortable, just start to shift the weight forward a little bit. Yeah. And then just add a little bit of a rotation of the hips. So the hip's going to go away from the back foot. if the thumbs are on the hips this way, just going to go this way. Sway a little bit, just pull yourself in and out of it. So. Good, and then just press into that foot, shift the other leg back, press the leg down, shift the weight forward a little bit, and again, if it's comfortable, just gently rotating the hip into the front leg. Good. Okay, you're going to take the legs nice and wide, around about double width of the body. Think about very gently pointing the toes in. So you've got a very subtle internal rotation of the foot. Now just going to do a hinge back. So you're going to chop the hips back with the hands, chop them back. And as you do that, just reach the hands out. Don't worry about where they go in terms of the hands, but just bring them back to the body here as you pull up. Chop the hips back, reach the hands forward, and then pull the hips into central position. So you're just hinging all the hip back now. So the hips go right back, hands reach forward, the torso and the chest round about level with the feet in this case. Reach the hands out, pull the body back, chop the hips back, reach out, pull back. In about 10 nice and slow. Chopping back, reaching forward. Chopping back, reaching forward. Chopping back, reaching forward. Good. Now we're going to hold the position. Get to a position that's comfortable, so don't go too far out. Get comfortable, and with the fingertips, you're going to really press the fingertips together, like you're holding a big coconut in the hands. Press the fingertips in. Reach out a little bit more. Pull the hips back a little bit more. And in this case, think about the head really being lengthening through the spine. So think about pulling the chin back a little bit and pressing the crown of the head a little bit up to the top. Reach forward a little bit more. Take a nice deep breath in. Fill the lungs up and then breathe out. Keep the core engaged. Keep the hips where they are. You're going to reach the hands up. Raise them up right, like there's something on a really high shelf. And you're reaching for it whilst keeping the hips back. Reach up for it. Take a nice deep breath. On the breath out, you're going to turn the thumbs down, and then you're going to breathe out, and you're going to reach the hands into the ground. Keep the hips back, fingertips in the ground. Just take a nice deep breath in. You're going to walk the hands forward, little bit, until you've got a little bit of length through the body. And then think about someone behind you, just gently pulling the hips away from you. Cling into the ground with the fingertips. Take a nice deep breath. Breathe out. Let the fingertips and the hands come to the shin bone. Really press into the shin bone and pull the spine nice and tight. So you're pulling as if you're pulling the head and the chest away from the ground. Press into the shin bone and then think about pulling the chest up. Activating the glutes all the way up, all the way. And then you're going to let the hands spread to the back. It's going to come into a wide wing position. Thumbs point out. Hands in a nice wide spread position. And just find a nice vertical position of the head, the hips, lengthen up. And then just release it. And just shake out any tension that you've got in the body. Shake out the hips, it might be the shoulders, the neck. Shake it out. We're going to do one more pose from here. So you're going to take that same shoulder width, wider the double body width position. Very slightly again in turn with the toes. With the hands down, you're going to just find the hips again. Rather than chop back, what you're going to do is reach down to the ground. So one hand is going to reach down a little bit off center. So that's the center line. I'm going to just reach down towards one foot and then come back up. Okay, and then I'm going to reach down to one foot. And you're reaching with structure as well. So try and avoid with this one. Try and avoid this. Kind of reaching down like this. Think about the length of the body and think about the hips engaging the hand down. And then it's like you're driving the hand down into the ground, kind of pulling it back up with the hip. So it's hip engaged movement all the time. Hips drive the hand down and then pull it back. Hip drives the hand down and then pulls it back. Give it a try. Put 5 on each side. Good. That's it.
Michael, your sound is a bit
Oh, is it?
on.
Oh.
You turn away from the camera, it tends to lose it.
How's that? Any better, maybe? Let's see.
Yes.
Yeah. Good.
Yep.
Okay, good. Good. And then we're just going to do one more here. Find the hand into the ground, and then the other hand, just think about raising it up to reach the hand to the shoulder this way. So into the shoulder, so that both hands point down, and then think about opening it up. And then pulling it back down, opening it up. And again, try and feel that the hip drives the torso to look up. And then the last one, just hold the hand at the top position and just play with the head looking down at the hand and looking up the hand in the ceiling or in the sky. So, and then drop the hand back, pull the hand down, and then take it to the other side, spear the hand into the ground. Bring the other hand into it. Just think about opening up the torso, the chest, thoracic spine. And if that feels comfortable, reach up. And just going in and out of that position. And then the last one, hold at the top. And again, just play with the head, looking towards the hand. Looking towards the top hand. Looking towards the ground. Looking to the top hand. Bring it back down. Press both hands against the shin bone. Lengthen through the spine again, so if you're trying to pull the head, the chest away from the ground. Feel the feet, feel the ground in the feet, and then think about really pressing the body up from the ground. You're going to keep a little bit back, extend it with the hips, and then you're going to get into that wide position again. Here. And then we just do one more, reaching the hands out to the front, squeeze your coconut, and reach the hands forward. Okay, just take a couple of deep breaths in. Really spread open the lungs. Keep the core engaged all the time. And last thing to think about is just think about squeezing the ground together. So as if you're trying to pull the ground towards each other with the feet. Couple of deep breaths. Now think about spreading the ground away. So as if you're trying to spread the carpet or the floor or the mat or the grass, whatever you're on. Couple of deep breaths. And last one, I promise, you're going to raise the hands up as slow as you can with an in-breath. Slowly as you can. Take a nice deep in-breath. Keep them there for one out-breath. And then spread the hands away from each other as you pull them back to the body. Spread them away. Draw the hips into the center. Bring the feet back to normal. Shake them out. Shake out wherever's tense. Shake out the hips. Shake out the arms. Shake the shoulders. And we'll just shake everything out. Go really into the wrists. Just above the head. A little bit front and back. A little bit side to side. A little bit doggy paddle. Release the arms.
Is he recording this?
Shake the arms. Shake the legs out. Not the arms. Shake the legs. Good. Plant the feet down. Shake out our body. Okay, dokie. Good. So we'll do some tanto, but what we'll do first, just go to a little bit of atemi work. So looking at striking work, and we'll look at 3 examples of strikes, and then we'll use them the same examples there and how they apply with the knife. So the first one, really simple, where we generally start with atemi work. Yeah, just look at a shoulder width stance, and we'll just look at a really basic ski. So the first one, think about making a fist, but quite a light fist. So one that's not going to kind of tense at the shoulder. And just think about it being at the hip here. Don't worry about kind of turning the hand or anything like this. Just have it placed at the hip and think about the hip sending the hand out. Okay. So there's two ways. You can go into this position where the hand rotates down, or you can just let it track forward. Okay. The key thing with this one is that first the alignment, that the hand just basically tracks forward, and you want to feel that the hand, the elbow, and the shoulder basically just fall onto one line this way. Okay? So there's a little bit of a rotation with the hip, but I don't want to overdo it and go into this kind of position. So think of the hips being square on, press into the foot, and just let the hand just track down a line, basically. Track down a line there. That's it. That's it. Good. That's it. Okay. Just play with one where the hand's really loose, so it's like you've got a very loose hand, loose fingers. Now think about putting all your focus into the elbow. Okay, so what I don't want to do in this case is something like this, where the elbow starts to really hyperextend, and then the shoulder wants to kind of get pulled out with it. So look for one, it's like I go here, and then the hand really just kind of loose, and it kind of hangs down. And I want to feel the elbow really heavy, and I want to feel that it's dropping into the ground, basically. So keep the hand loose, and it's just, again, feedback on whether I can drop the elbow. Now, if I feel that the hand's getting pulled out, like this direction, it's a little bit too much, so I want to just feel that. Just work with one side for now. Good. Now play with the opposite hand. You can touch a few places on the body. Play with the shoulder, especially the front of the shoulder here, and play also with the center line of the body. So just where your center is, center of the body here. The two things you want to feel is like release. So the main thing with the shoulder is that I don't want to feel that it's tensing and kind of pulling into tension here. So feel that it's able to roll back, and the feeling really in the body should be that the shoulder can really roll back into the body. So I want to feel that the shoulder blade is kind of rolling into my back pant pocket, basically. So it's like this kind of feeling, and I don't want to feel that it's doing this, kind of raising up and into the ear. Okay. The one on the center, if you go to the center line, think of the center basically wants to hug the ground, basically. So if you think about, as I do this motion, there's a little bit of a movement down. So it's quite a subtle one, but I don't want to feel that the hand's pulling the center off the ground, basically. I want to feel that the hands that comes out is actually sinking the body down. So those are the two key places with this. Think about the shoulder and think about the center. So that's it. Very good. And then just go back to the idea of a fist. Make it quite a tight fist now. So make it tight, and again, look for the same feeling in the shoulder. Look for the same feeling in the center. So don't worry about power in this case. Just think about coordinating and think about weight down and think about actually being released. So it's like a kind of, what I don't want to do is like this kind of movement where I'm kind of held tight. What I want to do is actually like release the punch out from the ground. Release it out. So make a tighter fist as you can in terms of keeping the rest of the limb free. Kim, you okay? Not too tight that you induce her.
Thought myself.
Now, especially when you go to this, when you play with this one, when you go to this one, this fist kind of going in, really feel that the elbow stays basically hanging down. So what I don't want to happen in this one is if I twist the hand for the elbow to get pulled out this way. Yes, sir. Just play with this, the hand position, either this one, which is more like a kind of straight fist this way, and then this one where you rotate it, but you're keeping the elbow down basically. So this rotation work is happening in the arm. This rotation work we actually do all the time with weapon work. When we do sword work and jo work, we work this rotation work all the time. So it's actually nothing new in terms of the body that we work. Just that kind of sense. Good. Okay, good. We're going to coordinate the whole body now. So the other hand, you're going to find the center line with it. You're going to reach it out. Okay. The hand of the fist, you're just going to find the hip and think about slightly drawing the elbow back. So not so much that the shoulder does this, but enough that the shoulder kind of feels that it's opening out and that the elbow's drawing back. And then with this hand, you're going to reach towards the body, pull the elbow to the body. And as you do that, reach the other hand out. Okay, and then just come back to this position. So you reach out, find the center line, make a fist, find the hip, and then as you pull this hand back, elbow draws to the body, the other hand releases. Okay, reach out, find the fist, pull the elbow back gently, find the ground, and then release. So looking to coordinate both sides of the body now. One hand's reaching out and the other hand is drawing back to the body. So there's different kind of functions of this movement later in terms of the hand that's drawing back to the body. In terms of just body movement, just think about it coordinating. So I just want the elbows to coordinate together. Coordinate together. So, very good. Very good. Great. Good. Now, as you go in, this is a little bit artificial in a sense, but if you think of the elbows, really like scraping across the body. So as you do this, you want the elbows to be tight to the body. You don't want to feel that as you pull back, the elbow kind of pulls away from the body. So think about like a track from the body. And the key thing with this, it's not really about the elbow being close to the body. It's about the elbow being in a track with the hip. Okay, so as the hip draws in, the elbow is actually just on top of the hip, and then you can spread out from it. You can obviously do these kind of movements, but if I go to this too early in terms of learning a movement, it starts going to separation. So think about both elbows tracking the hips. So you reach out, you strike out, reach out, you strike out, and the elbows are really basically in contact with the body as you do this. So, and if you've got a nice clean karate gi on, you get a nice clear snap if you do this as you draw the elbow across the fabric. Yeah. Good. Good. We're just going to stick to one side, so whichever side you're kind of striking with. We're going to look at another movement now, which is 𝘥𝘠𝘦𝘢𝘵. What you're going to do is with this one, just play with this, making the shape in the hands up. When you strike 𝘥𝘠𝘦𝘢𝘵 in this case, you're striking with the kind of heel aspect of the hand, the blade of the hand here. Now I need to kind of make a kind of tight shape of the hand. What I don't feel is loose, and I'm kind of hitting with it. Okay. So what we'll do is a few, just play with the hand being loose, really loose like this. The main problem with this is if I do this in either shape, whether I'm in this shape or this shape, is when I strike, I don't want to hit with the fingers. Okay, so either with I'm here with strong fingers, it's still gonna kind of still gonna damage the hand. So if you think about striking with this, I think the strike's gonna go to the basically the heel of the hand. So just play with it, loose, and just play with this kind of feeling. Strike your other hand very gently. You're just kind of playing weight down. And the key thing is always feeling that the target for the hand is basically the palm of the hand, or the heel of the hand, this part of the hand here. And I want to really avoid doing that into the fingers. Yeah, so really you're asking for the fingers to be broken, basically. Okay, good. Now the classic one with this is don't hit the hand, hit through it. Yeah, so if you think about, everybody knows how to slap basically. So if you think about slapping, you do something like this. You don't do like this. You do like this through. That's the kind of quality you want with the strike. So if you think about this kind of shape, don't think about hitting the hand. Think about striking through it. Now, obviously, be careful. Don't hit too hard your own hand. You'll injure yourself. But just have that sense that you're dropping weight into it. That's it. And just kind of roll, receive it. But it's that same aspect as if you were making a slap. Same dynamic. Weight drains down. Weight drains down. So it's the same things we're looking at with the strike in a little bit more trickier position now. Don't hit yourself too hard. Okay, and then think about really making the shape. So when you do this, you kind of gently kind of draw the thumb in, and you think about really activating this part of the hand. So you don't go like Spock, but you go like fingers together this way, and you don't kind of spread the hand this way. You think about this, and just gently the hand spreads together. So I want to feel that this becomes wide. Yeah, and then you've got a really strong part of the hand to strike with. So what we'll do in this case is from here against shoulder width, just think about raising up to the center line. This part of the hand, just the base of the thumb, is going to be around about the center line of the head, the forehead. And then just think about engaging the hip down. Okay. Don't worry about the strike first, but just think about just establishing this line through the body. And the key aspect here is actually finding that line with the hand. Dropping in. But don't worry about the strike portion of it. Just worry about just centering the hand to the core of the body. So that's it. Now think about a little bit of a strike. So come into the top of the head, bring the hand to the head, and just think about again engaging down into it. So play with a few things. It might be useful again to go back to a loose hand, just to get again the sense of the elbow being the focus. So you're driving the elbow down from the hip. Drive the elbow down from the hip. And then once you've got that dynamic, think about making a little bit more the hand, a little bit more tension. And then just start to feel that you can engage the hip, engage the hip, engage the hip, engage the hip. And the other hand again, use it 2 places, the shoulder, just to feel what's happening in the shoulder. And again, I want to feel that it's loose, not tense. And the other place is just the center line, just at the center of the body. And just again, just feel what's happening there. You've got a different movement now happening from the strike, where the center is just kind of rolling down, to the 𝘥𝘢𝘦𝘴, where you've got a little bit more of a rotation now in the body. So the demands on the body are a little bit different. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Good. That's it. That's it. And again, just explore the shoulder, explore being on the center with the hand. That's it. Good. And again, looking at coordinating both sides of the body. We'll do this the same movement that we did before with the punch with the other hand. So reach out to the center line. The other hand finds the top of the head this time. And then as you strike out, pull the hand back here. Okay, so again, it's just being used in this case just to balance the body. So it comes in, reaches out, and then think about grasping and pulling back to the body. And then pulling back, grasping, pulling back to the body. And then do this with a really feeling of release. So it's not the sense that I kind of do this and hold the body in tension. It's that you release towards the ground. Okay, so the real main aspect of this is to drain towards the ground. And you get the same dynamic working all the time with weapons. That sense of extension out and being grounded. There we go. So good. That's. Very good. Good. We do one more strike. So this again, it's a little bit more demanding on the body. This time it's going to be an uraken. So this is a back fist, and the strike with this will basically be right with the back of the hand. So start with this. What I want to again go back to a loose hand. So again, we're just going to focus on the dynamic of it. Shoulder width apart again, and with this one, you're just going to play with wrapping the hand just across the back. So just let it kind of wrap towards the back of the neck, and then think about just releasing the hand out and then back. Okay? So there's a bit of step to this. 3 different positions. There's a wrap around the side of the head. There's a reach out, and then there's a snap back. Okay, where the hand just finishes in this position. Okay, and then each time reset. So draw up, reach out, and then snap the hand back. Okay, so it'll feel a bit strange at first when you do this, but think about coiling in, reaching out, and then snapping back. What we'll do is really bring these movements together next, but just about coiling, snapping out, and then bringing it back. And the finish, the hand's just really at the center. Feel like a back slap in this case. Back of the hand slap. That's it. Kim's got the giggles. Wow. Okay, think about this now as just as 2 moves. You're going to roll into the side, and then think about snap back, come back this way. So it's coil in, reach out, snap back. So that moment now like one. It's really like the quality of this like a whip. Comes out and then back. I've made it worse. It's not like a whip. It's like something else. Good. And then we're going to go right into coordinating the other side. So keep this quite loose, you're going to reach the hand out in the same way again. And in this case, you're going to slightly use this arm as a kind of track. So if you imagine the back of the hand just coming across here, but at the same time as you do this again, reach back towards the body. So again, the demands of the body are now really different. We've gone from like that position where the center just basically rocks down, this position where the center goes into a little bit of a rotation, and now this one you've got a full kind of opening of the body out now. So reach out, wrap the hand to the body, and then just think about again releasing it this way. And at the end of the movement, you're just in this position, and then reset each time. Reach out, coil the hand to the side of the head, and then release. Snap back. Good. So of the three, this is the hardest to kind of coordinate. Okay. Good. Okay. Good. And the last few with this, just play with making a tight fist now. The key with this one, again, is that it doesn't tighten the arm up and make it rigid. So play with this one, in this case, play with it where the fingers are loose. And this is actually one use of this movement, which is basically, would be a kind of a flick that goes towards the eyes. So it would basically be something like this. So this is actually a useful part of the movement where you can actually keep this quite loose. The other aspect of this is to basically strike for the temple, which if you think about when we do Ikiya and we do this movement, this is the basic strike that we use for it. So if you think about the back of the hand now as the target, but if you feel again that it's kind of tensing the arm up and I lose this kind of flexible quality of the arm, just play with it being loose. This, yeah, but think about something with a little bit more of a snap to it now. So raise, there, raise, and if you can work with a fist, wrap it in and then release it out. And again, the kind of quality of this is this kind of roll out and coming back to the body. That's it. That's it. Very nice. Good. Okay, grab your knife finally, or spatula, whatever you've got. Okay, so we've done basically the groundwork of that. So all the movements we do now, they're basically just emphasizing the same coordination. Now you just got another focus now with the knife. So we'll look at three movements again. The first one, you're going to have the blade side up. Okay, so the blade side up, knife pointing, blade out, pointy bit out. Okay, just find the side of the body in this case. It's just going to kind of rest at the thigh. And just think about the first movement we did, which was this basically straight strike forward. So you're going to do this one, coming to this position, and then just pull back. Okay, coming to this position, and then pull back. Again, with the free hand, play with three things. Finding the shoulder and just doing this movement. Finding the center, doing this movement. And the other one is coordinating the hand here, so that it basically does an action as well. So in this case, we'll use the same action as we did with the ski work, open-handed, but just feel that you coordinate the body. Now, the key aspect of this with the knife is that the path that it travels on is basically an arc up. Yeah, so the blade's actually arcing up as you do it. It's not the kind of classic ski thrust that you would think of, which is like this kind of movement. Something a little bit more subtle, which would be this. And the idea with this is that later I can use it to draw up. Yeah, so the cut basically continues. So it's an arc that comes in, out, and then think about it would actually travel up. So that would be the direction of travel that we go to next. And just play these three hand positions, either on the shoulder, on the center, or just using it freely, basically, to coordinate the rest of the body. So. Yeah, so. Good. And then same thing, we're going to go to the next one. We'll go through these quite fast. So you're going to have the blade up in this case. So blade's pointing down, if I'm kind of holding it out this way. Again, pointing ends forward. Look, think about the 𝘥𝘢𝘦𝘴 that we did before. So this and this. It's a classic knife attack with the blade like this. So think about, again, finding the top of the head. And then think about the hip. Now just drawing the tanto down, drawing the knife down. But find the top of the head and then just arc it out. And again, it's an arcing movement. It's not the sense that kind of pressing it out. It's the sense that you're slashing down into it. So find the top of the head, slash down. Again, play with the free hand. You can play with it at the shoulder. You can play with it at the center. Or you can play with it coordinating into different patterns. This way, this way, this way, this way, this. So think of this as either like a percussion kind of thing, percussion that you would use here, like we do with the bokken, or think of it more that we would use in the knife. Like think about it really as a slice, as a slash or a slice. Slash. That's it. That's it. Good. And now notice with this one, even just a little bit more weight, it's very easy to do this, to lose the structure. So as you do this, really consciously always draw yourself back to the ground. So feel that every time you finish, you're in the ground. You're in the ground. Yeah, and as soon as I go into that kind of position, notice it and just really pull yourself back to the center. The hand at the center is a really great one because it just draws your attention to that area of the body. And it's very obvious if I go out of center, what's happened to the body. Yeah. But again, keep a nice focused slashing movement. If you can do it a little bit, you can do it a little bit faster, as long as it's coordinated. Good. Good, last one. This time you go into a classic psycho killer position. So blades pointing away, but that points down now. So the classic one that we'll do is actually this would be the same one, that same 𝘥𝘢𝘦𝘢𝘵, but actually arcing out. We'll do a slightly different one in this case, which is again kind of wrapping into the body here and then projecting out this way. Okay. This has two functions now. The wrap is a slash. So this is slashing across, and then this is pointing, this is thrusting out. This is slashing across, and this is pressing out. Again, hand in different positions, shoulder, center, or just coordinated it in with the rest of the body. The other use of the hand that you can do here is also in this position, in which case you can use it to kind of apply a little bit more pressure on the thrust. Yeah, so this and this, where this hand's actually in a position where I can drive the knife in. Yeah, totally vicious. Slice the throat and then press in. That's it. We're doing Aikido, right? Yeah. So that's it. Ooh, okay, very good. And again, play with the two functions of it. So as you wrap across, is actually that sense of slashing to the front and then thrusting out. Slashing to the front, thrusting out. It's really one motion in this case. Yeah, that's it. Good. And then as I said, so this is the complicated bit now. So knife at the side, we look at the thrust, so thrusting out, and then from here you're going to transition up to the top, and you're going to switch the blade to the top. Okay, and then you're going to slash down, and then you're going to transition across to the side of the body. And this is the tricky one. You're going to switch the blade to be in this position. Okay, and then you're going to slash across and then thrust out. Okay, so it starts here in this position, hands in this position here. You thrust up. Continue that motion as you do this, transition the blade, slash down, and as you transition across the body now, shift the blade, point into the back, and then slash across, thrust out, and then come back to the start. Goes out, goes up, slash, change, thrust, finish. So you're bringing those three attacks in together now. There we go. Yeah, okay. Nice. Good, and then give yourself a little bit of freedom with this. Use that as a kind of basic set, but if you start to kind of riff off it, it's okay. Play with moving around now. So we've done nothing with the legs. You don't really need anything specific, just use the legs. So I basically step with it, change, step with it, change, step with it. So I'm just basically thinking about taking a side now. So in an obvious sense, it's the same that I do the same foot as the hand. And as I change, same foot with the hand, and then as I change, same foot with the hand. Yeah, and just explore kind of moving around the space a little bit. If you need target, just use them. So in my case, it's better to have targets. So it makes it easier to focus the attack. Just make sure you don't hit anything or anyone. But just explore those as a pattern. So you've got the thrust, you've got the slash, and you've got that stab out. Very good. Very good. Very good.
You can use a target.
Okay, we'll just do one thing to loosen out. So just have a loose hand, take the knife into the free hand, and just play with this as a set. So it's a reach out, raise up, roll down, and then whipping across here. So you're gonna reach out, raise up, come down, draw the arm back across, and then whip it out, and then come back. It's just to loosen up the joint as well, the movement we just done. And again, just look to take all the tension out of the joint. Roll across, whip out. Yeah, that's the last few. So. So. Very good. Great, good. So the other thing we didn't do is obviously use the other hand. So the other thing you can work on is just switch the hand and try on both sides. And then the next progression from that is to switch the sides as you're attacking. Yeah. So you do it on the right. But basically, I train a lot on your favorite side. Generally with knife, you're going to be just one-sided. But it's good to have the freedom to be able to switch sides and coordinate the body in terms of movement practice. But in terms of function, you're probably just going to have one side that you focus on a bit more. Okay. But we will allow right there. Very good. Right. どうもありがとうございました。
どうもありがとうございました。
Okie dokie. Great. Very good.